What we is it recording? Yep. What we're doing here is I've put some ginger and garlic in there. If you were doing, I'm not sure whether I've got the right size fry pan, but I think this could do the job what I want. So that's got garlic paste and garlic frying off in that. Now I want to blanch that off. You come over here, we've got, that was 2 chicken breasts, so that's diced, the beans are diced. Take all the ends off it. There's one that didn't get an end off it, but the end's off it now. And they've been chopped up. Onions, this is spring onions. In the pan there's garlic and ginger paste. So we're going to fry that off. So you want to fry that off. Get that, blanch that down. So we get that golden and fried off. Put a bit more oil. This is this olive oil. So I've put the garlic in there. What I'm trying to do here is just blanch this off. This fried off and blanch it off, and that will go golden brown hopefully. And then from there we want to add onion. So this is a chopped up onion, as you can see. So tuck that in, tuck in the shallots or the spring onions. Put a bit more olive oil. Don't be shy on the olive oil. You need a lot of olive oil. Olive oil is good for you. And want to blanch this off. I'm going to blanch that off so that it condenses down, reduces in size, which it will. Now, what I will do is need this other wok in a minute. Now we put these beans in. So the beans are going in. Now I don't expect people to, it might be a little bit overwhelming to do all this food prep. You can buy beans already cut up, you can buy onions already cut up. You can buy garlic that's already either in a bottle and mashed, or you can do the food prep yourself. There is no, there's no race or no time limit. You know, you can take your time and make sure it's all cooking right. Now I'm going to be using 2 fry pans. Now I've done chef work before and I've been in a commercial kitchen, so I think you've got to show originality. I am cheating a little bit. These are really good. You can buy all sorts of things from Woolworths or Coles. Green curry, you could use green curry if you wanted to. I thought I'd use coconut and cashew chicken. So there's that brand. And of course, another one, Passage from India, butter chicken. But of course, you want to be able to use your own herbs and stuff like that. So I'm going to add some curry powder. This is good curry powder. Everyone's got different opinions. Now the idea of letting this blanch down, the idea of letting all this blanch down and getting really, really good. Now we had some cumin somewhere, didn't we? Now where's the cumin gone? The yellow powder stuff, I didn't know I buy some. Turmeric, yes. I not buy any turmeric.
Yeah, we did.
Anyway.
We did buy.
Now the smells and the aromas coming from this now is really, really nice. So the smells coming from this, that's still recording, isn't it? So the smells coming from that is really, really nice. Now I'm going to just let that cook down a bit. And what I'm going to add to this is called coconut milk. And coconut milk consists of being really thick in consistency. Throw it in. And just throw it in the sink. Now we're going to mix that up. We want this to cook down a bit. Now, if you wanted to, you could just eat it like that if you wanted to. But the real question is, going to add this as well. Coconut cashew chicken, simmer sauce. It says a simmer sauce, but see, you can use any of these sauces you like to make flavour. The only thing I haven't done, I just teared that open. My wife said, yeah, use the scissors. And we chuck it into the mix. Doesn't that look wonderful, people? Anyway, we just ignore that. And we throw that in. Looks like somebody's been very, very sick, but anyway, doesn't bother me. It's how it turns out. Now we mix this in. Now we put garlic paste with ginger. And then we've put shallots, we fried them off, blanched them down, and then we put the beans. There was, we put the onions in it as well. And we put the curry powder as well. That's a roasted curry powder, a mixture of different herbs. And this time around, one thing I haven't done yet, which I'll do very soon for you, is this is called chili. Now I'd advise, don't go too crazy, always put less than more. Less is better than more. Always add less, because you can always add more. If you put more, then you can't add more because you've added too more. So you're going to add that to it. Now, I know this sounds a bit odd, but I'll just get a teaspoon. Now we're just letting that condense down. Doesn't taste too bad actually, which is good. That's what we want. Now, while we're at the busy end, letting that simmer, we're going to do some rice. And so, I don't go, hello, I've got my cameraman right behind me that's not really my person on the camera, it's all over the shop. Now, we don't use Coles rice, we don't use Woolworths rice, or any shop rice. That comes from an Indian restaurant, Indian shop. or a foreign shop. Now, the more you buy of that, the cheaper it'll get. Now, I'm after a rice cup, obviously. So why have we got our rice cups missing? No explanation. So anyway, I'm going to use about cannot read it. A quarter cup of rice. So that's how much rice I'm going to use. That much rice will do 2 people, not a problem. So we'll put that in there for good measure. I might just add a little bit more. So I stuck that in there. Now we're using the rice cooker because the rice cooker is really good to use. But this Indian gate rice, that much rice will do 2 people. That much rice will do 4 people. That much rice will do 6 or 7 people. So Indian gate rice, top of the range, really good rice, well recommended. And the thing is with this, it's all 1 grain. It's not thing. And while we're doing this, yes, my wife's stirring the pot, of course. Just a joke. So with the rice cooker, we'll put about that much, about 2 cups and a bit in there. We put the rice cooker on. Whoops. So the rice cooker's on now. Let's go back to here. Let's have a taste of this again. Now, if you think it's too hot, or you think you've done some damage to it, a little secret is this, honey. Now, a lot of people say, why would you, that is hot, why would you stick honey why would you stick pure honey into a dish, into a curry dish? Well, it lessens the heat, it sort of tones it down. So we're going to stick about that much honey into the pot, and my bear and my wife's bear, our bear, Winnie the Pooh, would probably kill me over this and say, hang on, that's my honey. So I'm going to stick about 2 of these in the dish. And we'll stir that into it. Don't lose a spoon in there, please. Now, what did I do with the lid now? Right here. Now, this, on its own here, you don't have to add meat. Okay? Taste it. You don't have to add meat. Now, a little secret is milk. So milk gives texture. Milk will give it texture and taste. So you can add milk to your, you don't have to do this, but you can add milk. So I'm going to add a little bit of milk, not a lot. And we add the milk. Now I still want this to condense down. Must be a curry leaf. So that's condensing down. So as that is hot. Now the question, do we have any of those wraps? Did you buy the wraps or you did not?
No.
So we'll have this with a bed of rice and this poured over. We're going to have chicken with this. This is garlic chapatis or chapatis, and basically you roll them up in as a wrap with what you're eating, and it tastes really good. Now the secret is we're adding chicken. You could add chicken, lamb, beef, pork if you chose, but I prefer to add chicken. And basically, this is how you would make your bases for. But you could do the same thing with a tomato base or whatever. So you want to put that aside for a minute. You'll probably go, what is happening? So we put that aside, set that aside. So you can see that's set aside. Then we get another pan. I'll just check this gas burner. Gas is always better to cook with. Because I'm trying to cook, that's nearly empty. We'll use a full one. So these gas burners are really good because you can cook. Now the olive oil. Again, don't be too scared how much olive oil you use. If you go to a restaurant and the food is dry, completely dry, and there's no fluid on it, then basically I'd suggest to send it back to the kitchen. Because, so there goes the chicken in there. Now we want to blanch that down, fry that off, and don't worry, I'm washing my hands as you can see. Now you want to blanch that off so it's gone pure white. Blanch it off, get it really blanched, and still recording? Mm-hmm. So see, we've used olive oil, and the problem is the olive oil is breaking down, so it's getting lighter. So you've got to put more in it, and we stick more in it. Olive oil, you use a lot of it. And then we want to cook this till it's pure white. And then you'll probably ask, what are you going to do with the chicken? Well, we'll get there. And while that's cooking, I don't know what we did with the turmeric, but that's alright. While this is cooking, we're going to add a little bit more curry powder to it, to the chicken. Now, if you want to get rid of colds and coughs and you want to be more healthier, eating this stuff certainly will make the germs run away very quickly.
There it is.
Oh, we found the turmeric. Here's the turmeric. Turmeric is like a yellow powder, and turmeric is another good thing for you and healthy. So we're going to put about that much, and about probably just a tad more because there is a fair bit. So that's gone in. Now there's no written rule for what I'm doing. As I said, if you haven't done a lot of cooking and you're not a chef or haven't done this sort of cooking, then always add less, not more. Always add less. Now that's gonna cook down, and with a good Indian food, and the problem is a lot of people can't handle the chili, and the problem is because they can't handle the chili, they have a problem. Now, just to make this interesting, this is called lentils. Get this in any brand. And we're going to stick lentils in this as well. And this needs to be stirred a bit more. You can smell it. So we're going to need to put more oil in that. Why I do this. Now, this sort of meal is very cheap. The only probably expensive part of it is the chicken. But do you need to add chicken to this? No, you don't. You do not need to add chicken at all to this milk. You could just basically add the lentils, the beans. You wouldn't need to add chicken at all, or any sort of meat. You could do a thing. So now the lentils are gone in. Now we let that blanch off a bit more. Now when you think something isn't cooked, it's not cooked. If you think something's cooked, it's not cooked, you need to cook it more. For the reason of that thinking is because if you think it's cooked, it's not cooked, and you could probably end up with food poisoning, or you could end up sick because you haven't cooked it enough. If you think something's cooked, then you need to cook it for another 10-15 minutes, not a problem. So we're going to let that just cook off, and once that's condensed down, as you can see, the chicken's gone a bit white and yellow. But what we can do now, because that's pretty much condensed down, remembering before, if you have a look, we put this into it. This is what we cooked in the other pan, which was the, what was it? We fried off garlic. Garlic and ginger, the shallots or the spring onions, the ginger, the garlic, the fresh garlic as well, onions. We added the beans, and now what we're doing to this is we are now going to let this cook. We can check our rice. Yep, the rice is going. Now ideally, the good thing to serve this up with, and if you don't have something like this, that's fine, but you know, you can go to second-hand shops and get bowls like this. So I'm going to put a bed of rice on the plate, put the curry on top. Now another thing is, it's all about portion size. So basically when the rice is cooked, we know that'll be cooked. So that's boiling away there. Well, it's not boiling, but it's it is cooking, which you want. These little gas burners you can buy in Big W, Kmart, wherever, and you can buy gas cylinders, Big W. And now that's going to cook away and reduce down. It's got the chicken chunks in it. So when I cooked up the chicken chunks, you can see you don't cook the chicken, you don't make these chicken chunks too small. They've got to be a quite decent size. If they're too small, they'll just condense down and eventually just break up, disintegrate, and basically you'll have not much chicken there to eat. Now, as I said, with this dish, you could add, I've added beans, I've added lentils, I've added coconut milk, which you want a decent sort of coconut milk. I've added the Passage of India, cashew and chicken nuts. I've also added some curry powder, pretty lethal stuff. Also added some, don't worry about that, but this is called chili. Also added turmeric. Where did my turmeric went away then? Right, so I've added turmeric. And I can add a little bit more turmeric, because turmeric's good for you. That's why you're getting this yellow colour on it. It can stain, so be careful you're not wearing white in the kitchen. Anyway, chefs wear white, you can get things stained. Now, we want this to really, really condense down. Now, you know that I added 2 tablespoons of honey to this. The honey will, honey can act as, say you add too much salt, you can actually add honey to the salt, to the dish, because you added too much salt. And sometimes the honey will actually take the salt out of the dish and you might save the dish. But the question is, it doesn't happen all the time. I'm going to have to get another spoon, do some taste testing. Doesn't taste too bad. Want to taste? The cameraman taste it. She's going to taste it. Honest opinion. She must like it because she's going for a second. Is it good? Right, let's get the thing back to the cameraman. Now, a lot of people would say, why would you stick honey in it? Why would you stick milk in it? Well, milk gives a texture, gives added taste, and if you go to a restaurant and they have a similar to this, they could add milk to it. Because, I can go there. So to recap, all I've done is I chopped up the chicken, 2 chicken breasts. I chopped up shallots, onions. I chopped up about 5 cloves of garlic. The spring onions, garlic. I chopped up onions, beans. I chopped up fresh beans, and I fried all them off in the pan. So I put in the garlic, the garlic and ginger paste. I put in the shallots and I fried them off, blanched them down, and then after that I've added the beans. I added to the beans I added some curry powder. Also then I added, what did I add after that? Chili. When you're dealing with chili, always add less chili. If you add too much chili, you might wreck the dish. So I would suggest 1 teaspoon or half a teaspoon of chili to start with, because if you add more, you may not like it and you can't take it out. Always add less than more. So that's really, really cooking down nicely. As you can see, look at the beans. Oh, that's getting a bit hot there. Should have taken that out. So now you don't want this dry, because if this is dry, then you wouldn't want to eat it. It's not meant to be dry. You want it. You don't want it like custard, but you do want it to break down. You do want to cook it. As I said, if you think something's cooked, then it's not cooked, and then you need to cook it more. I think what it comes down to is imagination, and how you do your imagination. And if you do your imagination right, it's amazing what you can do. I've got this rice cooking over here. Sitting there. Now basically this is basically cooked. I am condensing it down. It's just slowly reducing the liquid, reducing it down. Reducing means you keep on boiling it, or you slowly boil it. Well, it's not really boiling, it's just condensing it down, reducing it down, because I'm not really boiling it. I'm just trying to reduce it down. The chicken's been fried off, as you knew in the video, so it's already been cooked, but the more you cook it, the better, because then you know it's cooked and it's safe to eat. So, a couple of tricks, as I said. Honey is a really good trick. Pure honey. Be careful what honey you buy, because a lot of honey in supermarkets actually watered down. So basically what you do is you get half honey, half water. So you've got to be careful of that. Now once that's cooked down, this rice is nearly cooked. So basically that is pretty much condensed down. Now what's giving it the yellow flavour is the turmeric. The turmeric, I've added a fair bit of turmeric as you see, but that's not going to matter because the turmeric is quite good. I like a good curry, I like something that's pretty hot. I mean, when you go to an Indian restaurant and you go and say to a chef, we went to an Indian restaurant opposite Cranbourne Police Station, and when we were there, the waitress said, the waitress said, why do you want it hot? Are you sure you want it hot? Because we're white. We're not Indian. And I got Indian, Fijian Indian family and that. But she was just not sure. So she asked us 3 or 4 times. And then she turns around and goes, oh, I'll go and get the chef. The chef come out and said, are you sure? And I said, listen, I don't come to a Indian restaurant to have watered down curry. So anyway, they did what we wanted. I wanted hot. Didn't want it like my auntie's, as hers hot, but she's Fijian Indian. But the thing is, I have it quite hot, not as hot as my auntie's. So we're letting that actually reduce down, so it'll get a little bit thicker, but not as thick, because you don't really need it thick. So you're getting that nice reduced down. You're getting that nice reduced down flavour. So it's becoming reduced. It's not runny anymore as such. It is thick, but it's not like thick as custard or as thick as what a soup could be or a stew. You still need that fluid. Now, while that's doing, this rice is getting out of the way. Now, one thing in that, I haven't added any salt. Don't need to use the salt. Got enough salt as it is. So, rice is coming along. That will be ready soon. Now we've got our plates here. Now, just out of curiosity, this is a knife, a chef's knife. You do not place the knife that way because you can flick, drop on your floor. Passing someone a knife, you pass it that way. But when you're not using it, place it at the back of your chopping board, out of the road, so it's not going to cause any damage, because knives can cause damage. So, these are the plates we're using. When this rice is cooked, now with the rice, you don't need it soggy, you need it al dente. Al dente just means that you have the rice not soggy, not hard, but in between, and it's just right. Now basically this needs to be al dente. Now if you take a look with the camera, see the oil sitting on the top? That oil that you can see sitting on the top, if you have a look, is quite natural. That's okay. If you don't have that oil on the top of your dish, then the question is you probably haven't used enough oil. Now basically, I need to turn this off now, because I think being an old fry pan, it's sort of, you know, these old woks can stick. But basically you see that oil on the top. If you don't see oil on the top, like that, which is olive oil, then it's not cooked. Now I need this colander. This thing I'm going to use as a colander, strainer. Now this rice is cooked, and basically we put the rice in there, as you can see, out of the rice cooker. That's turned off, yep. As you can see, the rice in there. Now that's Indian Gate rice. That's from an Indian shop. I wouldn't touch any bought rice from Coles or supermarket, I would give the Super Coles or Woolworths rice. I'd give it to me pigs in the backyard if I had pigs, because it's not worth it. You can see how long the strands are, and that was only as I said, a quarter cup of rice. So not a half a cup, it's only a quarter. So it's not even a half in there, and that's plenty. So we're going to bring it over here. I've got a good scoop here, so one scoop on there, one scoop on there, another scoop on there, and another scoop. So that's given me 4 scoops. Now that Indian gate rice lasts us a long time in a 5 kilo, but the more you buy it in kilo, the cheaper it gets. Probably $22, $23 for a, or you might get it on bargain and get it cheaper. So there's your bed of rice. So, come back here, and what we want to do with this now is serve up. So we grab this, come over to here, and basically, I hope my cameraman's doing a good job there, camera woman, man, child, whatever. Put this on. Want to get a bit of liquid. So there's going to be 2 scoops. Basically 2 scoops each. So you can see that. Now we take this to the table. That looks like that, doesn't matter. We put on the thing. And that's the finished product, as you can see. And you can eat that just with rice. Keep it going with rice, or you can open these things. These you get in Woolworths, garlic. They don't taste. They're not garlicky. You could use another type of wrap if you wanted to. And basically, bad habit of doing things, but basically. These are like wraps. So what you can do is you can put some rice and that dish into that and wrap it up, and you'll actually have a nice wrap. So that's it. And basically it comes down to food, portion the food, which was only 2 scoops of rice, 2 scoops of the thing. But if you wanted less, you could. And there's no reason why you can't. There's no reason why you couldn't freeze that, but that won't last long. But as you can see, is the consistency is what you're looking for. You don't need it runny, but that's not what you call runny. That's what you call a good consistency. Anyway, thank you for listening, and stay tuned to the next video. Stay tuned to the next video, and you might learn something else. Depends on what I'm going to cook next. Thank you for listening. Maybe I'll do a, I haven't cooked lasagna for a long time. Maybe I'll cook lasagna. Who knows? All right, thank you for listening. Thank you. I'm going to go and eat now. Bon appetit.